Well, a very good morning. My name is Jagan Asemakola Zixok. Welcome to BC TV. Good morning, Uganda Extra. On this 18th day of this month of October in this year 2021. Welcome and thank you so much for choosing to be with us on yet another very lovely Monday morning. To just remind you that COVID is still with us and we're trying to do the best. One, to hit the target of 4.8 million Ugandans. We are doing everything possible to get vaccinated as much as we can. Now, just walk out there, go find any place where they are doing the vaccinations. Please pick your jab, your first or second jabs, because all of us are very desirous to see this economy opening up again to its full blast like we used to be pre-COVID. And as we also get into vaccination, it's very important that we remember to keep hold and to adhere to all the SOPs, sanitize as much as you can, wear a mask in public, and of course let's also try to keep a social distance as much as we can, and that's the only way that we'll try to hit and to beat COVID out of this country of Uganda. Now, from the COVID talk this morning, welcome again, and discussion is just going to delve on the MTN's IPO that was launched a few weeks ago. And this morning, I'm just very honored to have with me in studios Mr. Wim Van Putter, and he is the CEO of MTN Uganda. You're very welcome, Mr. Wim.
Morning, thank you.
I'm happy to have you in studio this morning. And of course, together with Mr. Wim is Ann Joko, the Chief Executive Officer of Stanbic Bank Uganda. You're very welcome, Ann.
Thank you.
I am happy to have both of you here. Wim, I will start with you. Let's just get it into the discussion this morning to briefly talk about MTN itself as a company before we get into all the other things.
Thank you so much. So I think MTN, most of us know, we've been around for 23 years in Uganda. Telecom operator. We have now more than 15 million customers, okay, which, like almost 5 million using data, 9 million using mobile money. And last year, in 2020, we had our license renewed for another 12 years. And one of the obligations in our license condition, one of the license conditions was that we committed that we were going to take the company, MTN Uganda, the company, to the stock exchange, the Uganda Securities Exchange. And we were given 2 years to fulfill that obligation. So we have until June next year, but we said, let's go fast. Okay. Let's make this an opportunity, and let's create, an opportunity for our customers, but for all Ugandans in general, an opportunity to buy shares, to participate in the success story that MTN Uganda has been for the last 23 years. And we're confident that that success story is going to continue in the years to come, and say, let's share, create value for our customers, an opportunity to also become shareholders, and to also benefit from the profit and the growth of MTN Uganda that we are hoping for in the next few years ahead of us.
Was that part of your roadmap as a company, or it was a condition for the renewal of your license?
Well, it was a license obligation. It's in the license. There's no doubt about it. But as a group, MTN Group International, okay, we are present in more than 20 countries, most of them in Africa, on the continent. We have now a strategic agenda to open up, our shareholding to, as broad, as wide as possible. Uganda will be the 4th country, okay, out of the 20 where we have taken that initiative to go to the local stock exchange, and there will be more to follow. So yes, it's an obligation, but we've turned obligation into opportunity, because we really believe that we cannot succeed, we cannot thrive if we are not really embedded and we are rooted deep into the community that we are operating and that we are serving. So it is something, we're number 4, and it is something that will continue in other markets of the MTN Group. In a few years, I think almost every country will have been listed on the local securities exchange.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Mr. Wim. Slavia, I beg your pardon, Ann Joko. Coming to you, so many years ago, I remember Stanbic Bank also floated its IPO onto the market, and I'm only just wondering and asking myself a question: why you are in this thing with MTN now? Is it because you are the experts of IPOs, or could you just explain to us how you come into this question?
Thank you for that question. And yes, we did go public. We floated 20% of our shareholding back in May 2007. Yep. But we're playing, then we were the issuer. We're playing a slightly different role in this particular IPO. We're actually playing 3 distinct roles. The first one as transaction advisor.
Okay.
We advise MTN on the technical details of what it takes to be listed. We've been in this journey for the last 9 months, I think. We've been at it for that long, trying to really, because it's a technical process, how to get ready, how to prepare a prospectus that's up to international standards, how to make sure that the disclosures and the rules and regulations as prescribed by the Capital Markets Authority, as well as the Uganda Securities Exchange, are adhered to both in the letter and the spirit. So we've done that first role as transaction advisor and brought them to market. The second role is done through our subsidiary, SBG Securities. We are the lead sponsoring broker of this transaction. And our job is to make sure that we connect buyers of these shares to the issuer, who's MTN. That job also entails organizing all the other brokers and making sure that the role of bridging the gap between the two, as a broker you're always in the middle between the buyer and the seller, that role is executed well, making sure the market has the right information on time, the right disclosures is also happening under our SBG Securities entity. The third role, and equally important, is our role as a lead receiving bank. We are responsible for collection of all the monies. As we've mentioned, this IPO, the offer size is 895 billion.
895.
895, plus a few cents after that. But 895 is the number to remember. And that job is to make sure that the settlement, reconciliation, and possible refunds in case of an oversubscription is also handled end to end and handled in a professional manner. When it comes to Ugandans, I know it's actually everybody, and issues of their money, they are always very sensitive. So we are lending our support to this transaction to say, how do we make sure that from the time you subscribe, whether you've done it via MIPO, which Wim will talk you through shortly, or whether you've gone to a bank and put the money in, you're sure that one, you will be given the shares you've applied for, but if there's in any case a chance for oversubscription, that your money will come back to you, right? So that all those three roles, as transaction advisor from a technical point of view, as lead sponsoring broker, as well as a lead receiving bank, that is all a Stanbic Holdings Limited, which is the bank as well as our securities arm.
Are there any other brokers apart from yourself?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
This transaction is open to all authorized brokers.
Okay.
The three leads are ourselves, Dyer & Blair, as well as Crested Stocks. Those are the three lead brokers, but all the other authorized brokers, you can go to them for advice and for help in this transaction.
And now because this involves MTN, I think we will answer this question, but Sylvia, just before I beg your pardon, Anne, still with you here. What does somebody do if they do not have an account with a Stanbic Bank? Because somebody may think it is Stanbic Bank here, and I'm only thinking, do I have to go to Stanbic Bank, or I can't do it even when I do not subscribe to the bank?
Absolutely not. First of all, let me first clarify two things.
Very
One,
good.
You need not be an MTN subscriber to participate in the IPO. This IPO is open to all people, all Ugandans. That's very important. The second part is you need not have an account with Stanbic Bank to be able to participate in this IPO. And there are different ways in which you can participate. If you have an MTN SIM card, you can participate on the MIPO, and we will take you through how that happens. However, that there's a limit of 5 million shillings per day on that. So there's a benefit that you get 10 shares. If you're Ugandan and an MTN subscriber, you get 10 bonus shares for every 100. So that's the benefit.
Okay.
There's a slight issue.
10 bonus shares.
10 bonus shares for every 100, right? There's a limit of 5 million shillings per day, but you can do as many as you want, right? If you're sitting here, we were calculating the other day, you needed 210, you can invest up to 210 million if you started last week, Monday, when we opened on the MIPO, all the way until we close the 22nd November. Yeah, so that limit of 5 million should not discourage you. You can do it every day. If you want to, so that you can get the bonus shares. Yeah, but if, however, you're intending to invest a larger amount, walk into any bank. There are three receiving banks. Ourselves as a lead receiving bank, Standard Chartered Bank is a receiving bank, and so is Absa Bank. So any one of those accounts, any one of those banks will have accounts where you can register, where you can pay for your shares and subscribe. It's important to, so let me clarify to your question. You need not have a Stanbic Bank account to participate. However, you must have an SCD account to participate.
What is that?
An SCD account is a securities depository account. This is where your shares are held in electronic form. Remember, in the past, every time you bought shares, we gave you a certificate, a piece of paper. You could take home and hang on your wall. But we don't do that anymore. The shares are now held virtually. But you get the evidence you get that you own shares will give you an SMS when you subscribe to say, we hereby confirm that you have subscribed. And at the point of allocation, we will send you a confirmation to say, we confirm you have successfully bought X number of shares, and this is your. So it's important to distinguish that you need two accounts. You need the SCD account. That one is an absolute must. You must have an SCD account to participate. The second one is the source of the money. It can be MomoPay. It can be anywhere, any bank account anywhere, as long as you route the money onto one of the receiving bank's accounts.
Allow me to take maybe the audience yourself through on the process of the MIPO that Anne was referring to. Okay. So there are two steps, as Anne rightfully said. You cannot participate if you don't have that SCD account. Okay. Now with the USC, MTN, we have developed now a platform, the MIPO platform, where using your phone on USSD *165*65, star 65 hash, you will get onto a menu where 1, open SCD account, 2, apply for shares. Okay. That platform is on top of the traditional ways, easy portal, you to your broker, those were the more traditional ways of opening your SCD account. We have developed through your phone, application on the phone, that you can do it, from the comfort of your home. So number 1, you will open your SCD account, you have to enter the national ID. So this is available for customers who have been registered with a biometric verification of their national ID. Okay, most of our customers have been onboarded like that. Some of the older customers that have been with us for more than 10 years, we have their national ID or their name, but we don't have necessarily the bio verification. They will have to either come to a service center to have their SIM card upgraded, so that we have now the proper bio verification. Those are not that many, but there are some who will not be able to open up the SCD account because of that restriction. But they can come to a service center, 200 and more outlets that we are available. They can do with a national ID. It's 1 minute. We'll upgrade our database, and then they can also open their SCD account using their phone. Via the app is also possible, or USSD 165 *65 hash, number 1, open the SCD account. Now once you have the SCD account open, you will receive an SMS with a number, as Anne said. It's like a virtual account, okay, within USC, virtual, where your stocks are going to be held virtually, no longer paper.
As a shareholder.
Wait. No. You have your account.
Okay.
The account is still empty. There's nothing in it.
Still empty.
Now, option 2, apply for shares. This is now where you're going to take you through the menu again. You will enter now your SCD account. Okay, these are the SCD account, and then you will be able to buy for yourself or buy for somebody else. You'll have to enter another account. Then you can buy for a minimum of 100,000 shilling. So the minimum is 500 shares at 200 shilling, 100,000 in total. That's the minimum. We'll give you an option. You can buy for 100,000, 200,000, 500,000, 1 million. There's a whole range of options that you can choose from. Then when you click now, I want to buy for 1 million, it will be paid through your mobile money account. So you will have to enter your PIN code of your mobile money account, your PIN,
to give access,
to release the money, and now you have applied for shares. So you'll get an SMS and say, as the period will close, and we'll explain you the technicalities of what that means. After that, somewhere early December, you will now get a notification of your shares application has been successful. Here are your shares on your virtual account. I think, Anne, maybe you need to explain a little bit what the allocation and the opening and the closing of the period means, so that we manage the expectation of when people can expect their shares.
Okay, that's okay. Anne, talk about that.
And it's actually quite important, but I'll pick up from where Wim left off, that for you to successfully apply for shares, and I think it's very important for the viewers to understand this, you must have an SCD account. That's number one. Number two,
which you can get for yourself, you said?
yes, you can do this on *165 *65 hash.
Okay.
You can open an SCD account if you're an individual. The process is a little more involved if you're investing as a group of people,
Okay.
in your circle or in your, because you will need your formation documents
Sure.
to go through KYC. So on this one, you may have to go to a broker.
Okay.
Yeah, so individuals, from the comfort of your
It's
home,
okay.
your office, you
It's
can do
easy.
it. So that is the part about opening an SCD account. The second part, which is also important, is that for you to have been considered to be successfully subscribed for the shares, you must pay in cash. There is no banja for shares. They're not on loan. You must pay with cash. So you must see the money leave your Momo account onto the SCD account for it to be an effective request or subscription,
Sure.
or move money from your bank account to the receiving bank for it to be successful. So it's important. You don't pay after. You pay during the process of application. It's quite critical. So this is the way it's going to work, the allocation policy. And at the heart of the issuer's objective is to share value with Ugandans. Ordinary Ugandans like you, I was going to say me, but I'm not allowed to participate for technical reasons. I'm not allowed to participate, not because I don't believe in it, I'm not permitted to. Neither is he, from the CMA rules. But for Ugandans out there, individual Ugandans, any one of us is at the core of this issuance. We want to get as many Ugandans as possible participating, owning what one can arguably say is one of the most, if not the most successful corporate to ever be in Uganda. And the allocation policy is also true to that objective, that we will start with Ugandans first.
Okay.
So any Ugandan, and we'll give them bonuses for them doing. Any Ugandan anywhere, once you apply individually, you get 5 bonus shares.
Okay.
If you're Ugandan and you apply using the MIPA, you get another 5. So you get a total of 10.
10.
So the minimum lot of 500,000 actually is 550 if you're Ugandan and you've used MomoPay. Yeah, the MIPO.
The MIPO.
Yeah, so you have 550,000 at as low as 100,000. So that's quite critical. And then you can buy for your child, you can buy for your mother, you can buy for your wife, you can buy in trust up to 5 trust accounts under your name for shares. So Ugandans will go first. Ugandan individuals will go to the next category, which is Ugandan professional investors. And for avoidance of doubt, we have classified SACCOs and NIGINAs as individuals, so that they can benefit from the bonuses, because they're not professional investors.
Okay.
When we talk about professional investors, we talk about people who do investments for a living. People like NSSF, pension funds, fund managers, those are the people who we call professional investors. So I've received a question several times. The bonuses or the incentives we have given to an individual extend to SACCOs and to NIGINAs, because they're made of individual Ugandans. So that is the spirit.
Okay.
So just to go back in the allocation, Ugandans, which includes individuals and SACCOs. Then you have Ugandan professional investors.
Yeah.
Then you have the third category of our brothers across East Africa.
Okay.
Yeah, they will come in third, and then beyond that, we open to the international investors.
Okay.
If any shares
If there are any left, yes.
Uncle, I wanted to come to the same one because I've comrades in Tanzania who actually are getting very ready to pick it up from there. What is 20% in terms of figures, and what is the limit that I can buy?
So first of all, you as an individual, you can buy as much as you want, as much as you can afford.
I could buy everything.
Okay.
895.
So the everything,
This conversation can stop here.
the 20% which is on offer, the
Yes.
total value is 895 billion Uganda shilling. That corresponds with 4.5 billion shares.
Okay.
At 200, 895 billion in total. There are no restrictions, on the number of shares that you can apply for. Of course, it will depend later on, as Anna has explained, in terms of the allocation. If you're Ugandan and you've put everything up front, you will get your shares because you're the first class in which we allocate the shares in case of oversubscription. But East Africans are also allowed to participate, just as internationals also, if after the allocation there are any shares remaining, then they will also be able to participate.
Okay, well, we'll just take a break and continue later after this break with our conversation this morning, talking about the MTN IPO shares. And of course, with me in studios is Mr. Wim, the CEO of MTN Uganda, and Anne Juko, the CEO of Stanbic Bank Uganda, with us here to educate us more about this. It could be an opportunity for you out there. Let's follow the conversation slowly and steadily. And by the time we get out of here, you shall have decided and made up your mind whether to buy how many shares. I do not know. The offers are here being shared with us. We'll take a break and return.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Vaccinated today so we can get closer to the normal way of life. Echa COVID-19 chija kugwa.
I smile when I think of you, Uganda, my home. My home, I dance when I look at you, Uganda, my home. Oh, my Uganda.
I know with you I'll always stay forever. I know, because I feel that we belong together. My home. On my heart, mommy, oh my Uganda.
Hey, mama.
My Uganda.
Oh,
my Uganda.
oh,
my Uganda. My Uganda. Nigokone. My Uganda. Amari, alemira. My Uganda.
At MTN, we look forward to starting another exciting journey together to grow our home, Uganda. Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Well, good morning once again and welcome back from that short break. We continue the conversation of MTN's initial public offer that was launched not so long ago. And here is the conversation, or this is what we're looking at this morning. And with me in studios is Mr. Wim, the CEO of MTN Uganda, and Anne Juko, the CEO of Stanbic Bank here. Let me just come to you. Wim, again now, on the company of MTN, of course you've been there. Let's look at the prospects of this business, because we're looking at you and sharing and selling all these shares to the public. Where do we see ourselves in the future? And of course, to the people, they want to invest their monies, and when do they even expect to recoup anything from that investment?
Thank you. Very good question. Because when you buy shares, you buy into the future of a company. Okay. Now, we look at like 5 good reasons why somebody could, make up their mind and decide, I want to be part of this. Okay. Number 1 reason would be your historic performance. Okay. You can promise a lot about the future, but if you've already done it in the past, the few years behind us, it gives you, more confidence that you'll be able to do it further going forward. So the number one reason I would say is our historical performance. We've been growing up to 15, almost 16 million customers anytime soon. Our top line has been growing, our bottom line has been growing year after year, year after year. All of those details of our historic past performance is in what we call the prospectus. It's been, you know, verified by accountants and all of that. All the historical performance figures are available. It doesn't give you a guarantee that you will continue performing the same way in the future as you've been performing in the past, sure, but at least it gives you some comfort. Okay, historical performance, tick the box, very strong. Number two, we are operating in Uganda. Okay, now I don't have to go, we all Ugandans here, we know our country, but there's two very unique things in Uganda that makes it a very attractive place to invest in. One, population growth. Our business is driven by numbers. Customers. We can't have 20 million customers if the population of Uganda would only be 10 million.
No, you can't.
Okay, that's simple maths. Now, the maths are in our favor. Today in Uganda, adult population is about 20 million. We are 43 in total. Adult, 18 and above, about 20 million. Sure. Now in 10 years from now, that 20 million adult population is going to grow to 30, 35 million. Now, we are in the business of offering services to the population. So it is fair to assume that our customer base, our 15 million customers, will also continue to grow. To how much? I don't know. It's 20, 25, 30 million. You know, the future will tell. But if the population keeps on growing so much, it's very fair to assume that we will also be able to continue growing our subscriber base. That's number two. Number three, in Uganda, our economy has been performing very well. Yes, there was COVID. 2020, there was a bit of a dip, a slowdown. A lot of challenges, a lot of people had challenges, but we are coming out of this. And I see the way you're promoting, you know, get vaccinated,
yes, exactly.
SOPs, all of that.
Yes.
Give it another 3 or 6 months. I really think that we will be able to leave this behind us. And then we haven't even spoken about the oil. There is going to come, you know, further growth of the economy, which will trickle down to everybody, and we will be able to further create wealth for all Ugandans. That's number three. Now, for MTN Uganda in particular, there are two major drivers of growth that we are expecting: mobile data and mobile money. First, mobile data. We only have 1 out of 3 of our customers today that are using mobile data. Only 5 million out of our 15 million are usually using mobile data. Why is that? It's low. Everybody, and we strongly believe everybody should be entitled to benefit from a digital world, digital lifestyle. Of course you need a smartphone. If you have no smartphone, you can't connect to the internet.
No, you cannot.
So we're driving very hard the adoption of smartphones. We're offering device financing. You pay your device over a 6 months period.
The Kabode
the
one.
Kabode, voila, you know the Kabode phone, that's the one. Okay, so you're going to see Kabode all over.
Yes,
because
exactly.
we want, even in the rural,
to increase the number
villages,
of mobile
we
data.
want people to have access to a smartphone. Even if it's a 200,000 shilling smartphone, it's still a smartphone.
Yeah, sure.
It gives you all the access that you want. Even with your expensive $1,000 phone, you know, it's the same access. You're getting access to a whole new world. So smartphone penetration is going to go up. The mobile data consumption is definitely going to grow massively over the next few years. And then last but not least, mobile money. We have 9 million mobile money users, yes, but today, most of us, we are using mobile money to transfer money. We go to an agent, we do a deposit, then we transfer it to a family member of the up country, the mother, and then what do? They run to an agent and they withdraw. That is the basics of mobile money. That's okay. We have been doing that for almost 10 years now, build up a subscriber base of more than 9 million. Much more than all the banks together, by the way,
sure.
in terms of customers.
Yes.
But the real growth of mobile money is not to continue doing deposit, transfer,
deposit, withdraw.
That is the
withdraw.
basics.
Okay.
The real growth of mobile money is what they call across the border in Kenya, our neighbors, Lipa na M-Pesa. What we call Momo Pay is to be able to use your phone and the money that is on your phone
to pay bills?
To do payments. Bills, sure, school fees, umeme, water,
DSTV,
yes, DSTV, but much more than that. We want that every shop, and there are like 500,000 shops, grocery shop, you name it, everywhere across the country. We want every shop to be enabled to receive money through
electronically.
Electronically, like is the case today in Nairobi.
As opposed to standing before the shop, order for something, then first go to an agent here to withdraw money, then give up.
That's what we don't want anymore.
Okay.
We really want, like just across the border, there's no reason why in Uganda we wouldn't be able to develop the same ecosystem of payments, mobile money payments, just across the border. Is already there. So we have to invest heavily in merchant who can accept Momo Pay as a valid way of payment, and that's where the growth of mobile money is going to sit for us in the next 3 to 5 years.
Very important. Sylvia, I beg your pardon again. Anne, you've allowed me to call you Sylvia. You're not Sylvia, of course, Anne, but I'm used to Sylvia Juko. Anne, what does it mean for somebody to own shares in a company like MTN? What does it mean for somebody? Do they become owners of MTN? And somebody will, of course, want to say, I have 500 shares, 1,000 shares, 2,000 shares in MTN. What does that mean for them?
So a couple of things. One is I'm not Sylvia, but I know, love and respect my namesake Sylvia Juko.
I will call you Juko now.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine. So a couple of things that to own shares, first of all, is to share in the value of the future growth of that company. It's important to understand that the value of the growth is not a definitive number. Wim sitting here and me as his technical advisor cannot tell you with certainty how much MTN shares are going to trade at after we list, or what value they'll generate. Right? So as an investor, when you take on this investment, you have to go into it with your eyes wide open, fully understanding the pros and cons of investing in this particular asset class. Right? So there are different, and this is how shares. So you rely heavily on the historical information to say, if they've done this in the past, if they generated this amount of value in the past, can they do more in the future? And so far, the information we have provided in the prospectus is such that we're taking strength from that to say, you know what, there's no reason why they shouldn't be able to grow and generate even more value in the future, as Wim so articulately explains. When you buy shares, you benefit in two ways. Either from a capital when the share price goes up, or when they pay a dividend. Historically, MTN has paid 3 dividends a year, and every time they generate profit, they will pay off. The dividend policy is 60%. Of 60%. Minimum of 60% of PAT for that year. So you are entitled a share in that, which is in proportion to the number of shares that you hold, right? So that's one part. The other one is the share price. As we know in this asset class, prices go up and prices go down. The things that drive the share price are usually company performance, but also the market information around it. That those two interact to then give you the share price. So our viewers out there, it's important for you to appreciate fully that unlike, let's say, a fixed deposit, if you bring a fixed deposit to the bank, on day one, I'll welcome you. Thank you for coming. I'll tell you, I'll pay you 10% for 12 months. So for that 12 months period, it doesn't matter what happens. You're guaranteed 10%. Whether Stanbic grows or doesn't grow, the value
10%.
of your investment is 10%. So while the benefit is that you're guaranteed your return, the drawback or the con is that you don't share in the growth of that entity, which is different from what MTN is offering Ugandans today. To say, listen, I can't give you any guarantees, but I'm saying to you that whatever the share, whatever the upside is, you're entitled to the growth. You're entitled to any new value created after you become a shareholder on the 6th of December when we list MTN on the Uganda Securities Exchange.
To a local Ugandan out there, Mwananchi, they would love to know they have invested 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 million shillings into shares. And whether the company is growing or not growing and all the things they want to know, because this is an investment that somebody is doing for the future. They want to know, I have invested my money in this thing because I'm not just depositing money in the bank, that I'm putting 10 million shillings in the bank. I can actually go with the rate anytime that I want. I am buying shares in MTN and I'm spending 10 million shillings buying shares in MTN. Whether the company grows or stands somewhere and gets disruptions with COVID and all the things, what happens at what particular period of time? Somebody would just love to know. What is in this for them? For anybody investing?
So I will reiterate my earlier point that if you're investing, you're taking a bet on MTN's future. Yeah? That is exactly that. That while we cannot sit here and tell you X amount, you're saying from a historical point of view, it's the same way when I give you a job, right? I don't know how productive you're going to be in the future. So I will rely on what you've done in the past to inform that decision. Yeah? So the same is true here, that we are relying on what they've done before, but also the market macroeconomics, the demographics, the growth in GDP and all that, to say, you know what, this is a good story to buy into. And you're becoming an owner. Remember, when you're an owner, if I own UBC, I am entitled to whatever value UBC creates, right? Whether when they make profits, I share in the profits. If they make a loss, you won't share in a loss. We won't tell you, please pay up a little more. But that means that here you will not be getting a dividend in that space. I hope that clarifies.
I do understand what you're saying, but I'm going to move out of studios here. They will find me. People will find me and say, "Twagala kumanya tufunira what?" This is very good. Technically, I can actually explain what you're explaining, but somebody would want to know. Like I said, Sylvia, I beg your pardon, Juko. Like I said, I beg your pardon. Somebody will say, "I am getting 10 million shillings and buying a piece of land." After 1 year, I can actually sell this land at maybe 12 million shillings or 20 million shillings. I am putting money in MTN and I'm buying shares of 20 million Uganda shillings. These are my shares, my money is with MTN. Now MTN is growing with me, I am with MTN. When do I possibly come to MTN and I say, I put 20 million shillings into this thing, and so how much is there for me? And if I want to get anything from MTN, what do I do? Wim.
Okay, so it's not MTN. Okay, you will not come to MTN and say I've put 20 million. You will go to the USE, the Uganda Securities Exchange, the stock exchange. The stock exchange is a market. It's like Nakasero market. It's a market where shares are being traded. Okay, the MTN share is there. People, existing shareholders might want to sell. New shareholders might want to buy. Offer and demand. That is what is going to drive the share price up or down. It's like Nakasero. There's tomatoes, there's bananas, everything is available there. The price is being determined by the offer and by the demand. That's the same what happens on the USE. It's a market where one of the products that is there for sale is the MTN stock. So there are no guarantees, just like your plot of land, and you say, okay, I want to start cultivating matoke. Okay, do you know the price of a bunch of matoke next year? What is it going to be? Is it going to be more? Is it going to be less than what it is today?
Could be even worse. They could be worse COVID next year.
You don't know. So it's the same with the stock price of MTN. Once it's getting listed on the 6th of December, the price can go up, the price can go down. It all depends on the market. Now, historically, my advisor will cut me short if I say too much, but historically, over a longer period of time, 5-10 years, on average, in so many other countries, we have seen that investing in stocks usually can give you returns over the long term that are superior to some of the more traditional investments. But there are no guarantees. Investing in shares comes with a risk. The price can go up, the price can go down.
Exactly.
Dividends can come, dividends might not come.
Exactly, and that's why I was coming to Anya to talk about the risks, yes. But maybe before you get the risks,
if you permit me, I will take Wim's point and expand on it further to say that for a potential shareholder out there is saying, You're telling me to put my money in this thing. You're telling me the return is not guaranteed. Who is taking care of my interests? How do I know that I will be taken care of? Who is looking out for my money and my investments? And I want to assure the investing public out there that the manner in which we're doing this is up to international standards and in accordance with local regulations. So the governance that we have in place with regard to a listed entity as enforced by the CMA and the USE is such that WIM here will not do anything, take a big decision relating to the company without having it come to the AGM where all shareholders will come. There's disclosure requirements that he has to come and tell the investing public that this is what I've done. Yeah. So there are institutions of professionals whose job is nothing but to look out for your investment in MTN and any other listed entity for that matter. You see us here as Stanbic every year in June and again I think in July and March. We come to the investing public without anyone prompt us to. We open our books to say, this year we have made X amount of revenue, we have suffered the following losses, we have done this and this and that. We also come to the investing public to say the following people have been nominated to take up board positions. Do you people agree? If the answer is no, we go back and do the work. So there's a lot of governance structures that have been put in place to make sure that you as an investor, your best interests are always taken care of. And if you look at the continuing listing obligations as per the Uganda Securities Exchange regulations, you will find that there is no safer investment. And I'll tell you why. The issue about your land, maybe the title will get lost, maybe squatters will come. There is no regulator looking out for you. Unlike this, where there's two institutions whose role is nothing else
but look at that.
But look out for the minority shareholders' interests, making sure that at all times, all the decisions being taken, all the plans in the company are made to safeguard and grow the investors' investments into that company. And I hope that begins to give you clarity.
It does give me clarity.
Yes.
I want clarity to them. It does give me clarity. I bought shares with a Stanbic Bank in 2007. Oh, so I'm one of those.
My boss. So now you're my boss.
I've been there before and I know what happens. But let's talk about the risks for the people to know. No investment does not come without any risks to it. Could you also just talk about this?
So there are a couple of things that you consider. The first one is the fact that there's no price guarantees, right? So that is a risk in itself, that we cannot tell you that 6 months from now your 500,000 you've put in today will be equal to that. And that is for me that uncertainty that comes with this risk. The second group of risks will be generic in relation to the industry. Look at the industry as a whole to say, if I'm investing in a telecom industry, what are some of the risks that might affect that industry and therefore affect my investment? Could it be regulation? Could it be poor taxes? Could it be population competition? So those are the. So there is no specific risk per se, as opposed. What you think about is the generic risks that are in relation to a particular industry in which you're investing, which is why we encourage investors to diversify their portfolios, such that if you have invested already, you have a bank stock, you have a power stock, you now have a telecom stock. If there are factors affecting the telecom industry, then your investment in other will shield you from any potential losses in this one. So diversification then becomes what sort of insulates or immunizes or mitigates the risks that you take on your investment.
You want to say something, Mim, on that?
No, I think Anne was very clear. There are certain risks involved, okay, with our industry. But the regulations are also there, to protect. Okay, but you don't know the future. Nobody knows what tomorrow is holding. So buying into the future of a company, per definition, on those particular things, there are no guarantees. But what she has said, I mean, as management, we've been running this company for many years. We have a track record of success. Okay, we are investing 1 trillion Uganda shilling in the next 3 years in building more network. building network because we want to accommodate more customers, because we want to drive more mobile internet uptake and usage. Okay, so the fundamentals are there. And we are being regulated, oversight by a board, by regulators who will, you know, tell us what are you doing, disclose every 6 months. We have to present all our figures. So there will be full visibility. People will know.
Okay.
They will see whether indeed we're on the right track or we're not on the right track. And they can then, you know, further inform their decision on what to do. So I think it's an opportunity, and we really believe, you know, to open up our ownership to as many Ugandans as possible. It's like a tree. Today we have 2 shareholders. We want 100,000 shareholders, so that our tree, you know, is stronger, with strong roots, that, you know, Ugandans feel like I own part of this company, so that, you know, all of us together we can grow stronger. And that's really the objective of MTN, is to widen our shareholder base for us to be a stronger tree and more embedded, because Uganda is a home, and you know we're not going anywhere.
Okay.
We've been here and we're going to stay here. It's not going anywhere.
Well, our time is running out. We just have a few minutes to get out of here. Any privileges to your shareholders and those who are on the MTN Telecom network? They've been members or subscribers for as many years as you've been here, and now they're coming into buying shares. Are there any special privileges to them? Because somebody will want to say, I now own shares in MTN. So
the first privilege is the bonus share that I was talking about. For, you know, the 500 shares, the minimum, you get actually 550, 10% extra for the 100,000 shilling. So you are our customer, you can use the MIPO, you get 10 for 100 extra. Okay, but I think even more importantly, the opportunity, you know, to be part of this. You become my boss, like Anna's saying, you're her boss, because, you know, you're a shareholder. You have a vote. All shareholders are treated equally. You can come to the AGM, we'll give you the mic, and you can say what you have to say, and your voice will be heard, and we'll have to take into account. So, yeah, I think it's also an opportunity to become a boss.
Yeah.
it is an opportunity. Yes. So yeah, finally, from you.
So a couple of things for me. One is the fact that this is a historical transaction in size and in nature. Many a time as Ugandans we have a tradition that when there's something good, we save it for the visitors. Whether it's a nicer plate in your home or that chicken, you save it for the visitors. Yeah,
bed sheets.
Yeah, you know, yes, you know. So, but this time
we're them for the hospital.
We are flipping that to say that Ugandans first. We are bringing it home first. So, and that as a principle is such an important part of what we want to do. And Ugandans have first priority, and that is not just lip service, it is structured into the entire transaction. That's number one. Number two, as a practitioner in the financial markets, this is a historic transaction in size. I mean, we've never had size this before. The biggest one we had was about $100 million on Umeme. This is more than double that. Number three is the democratization and really removing barriers for that ordinary Ugandan. That my grandmother in the village, if she wanted to, she could invest. But also allowing you to invest for your children and your future, and doing this in the comfort of your home. This is no longer for a select few. We are opening it up. Every Ugandan has a right to invest. If I'm still in, by the time I get 10 million to buy a plot of land, I mean, it's a long time. But if I have 100,000, I have 500,000, I can buy shares. So it's a historic transaction in many ways, and it's one that we have taken the time to think through. And what my parting shot to our viewers out there is, ask as many questions as possible, engage, watch such programs, and make sure that you have understood the pros and the cons of this investment, and also the prospect of what this gives you. And as I close, to say that we as investment advisors are available. Okay. We are available. Our SBG Securities office is open to provide clarity on any of these issues and any others that you may have. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And Wim, finally from you, remind the people how much the shares are, where they can buy them, how they can buy them, and up what limit they can actually buy.
So you can participate in the MTN IPO via your phone, *165*65#. First of all, open your SCD account with your national ID. Then option 2, you can apply for shares. The minimum is 100,000 shilling, which gives you 550 shares at 200 shilling. The 500 plus the 10% bonus shares, so you'll get 550 shares for 100,000 shilling. It is available, you know, for everybody to participate. It's easy to access. It is, you know, attractive because we're giving you the 10% extra, and I think it's affordable for 100,000. You can't buy land for 100,000, but you can participate in an MIPO and buy shares for as low as 100,000. So I would really say it's an opportunity, but be informed.
Okay.
Read the prospectus, get the right advice so that you can make an informed decision, and then we grow together.
Very
and
good.
we share value for the years to come.
And the offers go up to 22nd
November.
Allow me to shed some light on
Sure.
this. We opened the offer on the 11th of October. We will remain open for 6 weeks. It closes at 4 p.m. on the 22nd of November.
Okay.
Then you cannot come anymore. And I know Ugandans, when Lucky Dube is on stage with a mic, that's when we are at the gate to buy the ticket. I want to encourage you to come earlier. And you can come as many times as you want. Yeah, just come earlier, but at 4 o'clock on the 22nd of November, we will close the offer. On the 3rd of December, we will make the allocation announcement. We'll come back to say, my friend, you bid for X number of shares, this is what you've been allocated, and the process across. On the 6th of December, we then list on the stock exchange.
On your scheme.
And there you, if you didn't get enough and you want to buy more, you can bid for more shares. But also, if you put in money and you want your money back, you can sell. But you can only sell starting on the 6th of December.
On the 6th of December.
When the share is listed on the stock exchange.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Anne Joko, CEO Stanbic Bank Uganda, and thank you so much, Mr. Wim, from DMT in Uganda, and of course, to all our viewers out there, thank you so much for being part of GMU Extra. On this 18th of October 2021, where we've been discussing and talking about MTN's IPO, and I think it's a good way to go. And just like Anne here says, it's a very big opportunity for you and for me. I'm in Stanbic Bank, but I think it's another opportunity to get to MTN. So we encourage all of you. The shares are just at 200 Uganda shillings, but the list you can buy is up to 500 shares, which is 100,000 Uganda shillings. Thank you so much, and I think you can follow MTN anywhere, everywhere, and of course find out and get the details. Just like they said, get the information and get the right information. Don't allow to talk to anybody or everybody about this. Talk to the right persons, only those who are authorized. My name is Jaga Semakola. Ezeku Soka, just wishing all the best. For God and my country stay blessed. Another very good morning. Thank you.
Live from UBC's